It's quite hard for me to stand up in front of you for 20 minutes because I don't know if you can detect from my accent, I'm an Irishman. It usually takes us 20 minutes to say hello. So I'm going to struggle with this one, so I'll try my best. At the age of 33, I was a 19-stone violent drunk. Nobody wants to be a 19-stone violent drunk. I'd got to the point where I thought, do you know what, I need to sort this out. I need to start recovering. I need to start doing something. Just getting sober was the easy part. Staying sober was going to be difficult. And a friend of mine had suggested something to me. He told me about this thing, you probably have never heard of it. He told me about this thing that might help. It helps with depression. It might help with my addiction. It's the craziest idea I've ever heard. It was a thing called running. So the running was allowing me to do extraordinary things. I was able to go and speak to schools and speak to colleges, but people kept telling me, Tom, no, it's running, so what you're running? You'll be drinking again in no time. You're just small. You're just a drunk that got sober. You're not worth anything. If you're going to go and do these things, you've got to be extraordinary, and you're just ordinary. You're just that Irish kid. So I went and did something extraordinary. I did the Marathon des Sables in 2010. I arrived on the start line of the Marathon des Sables in April 2010. I was Tom Fitzsimons, the drunk, the drink driver, the waste of a life. 7 days later, and 155 miles further through the desert, I was Tom Fitzsimons, the finisher of the toughest foot race on earth. I was Tom Fitzsimons, the human being, and I hadn't felt like that for a long, long time.
Most toughest race on earth, 6 days, 156 miles, and the crossing of the finishing line for you was a very, very emotional moment. We have that actually. Let's have a look at this. So how did you feel when you got across that line and knew what you'd accomplished?
Well, that particular day, that's actually the long day. So that was 51 miles on that particular day that we'd completed. That was started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that was at 5 to 6 the following morning. That was like a new beginning for me. I came in over the finish line, the sun was just coming up, and if I'd come in any other time, it wouldn't have felt as good. It was as though I could put the last 4 years into a box and put a lid on it, and a new beginning, a new day.
Like, guys, you'd think that's where the story ends, wouldn't you? The Marathon des Sables. But that wasn't my world is watching moment. I sent an email to a potential sponsor and I told them what I was going to do. I'm going to run across the United States of America. He sent me an email back a day later and said, we're on, I'll sponsor you. I had 6 months to plan a 3,100 mile journey across the United States of America. But you know what? I wanted my world is watching moment and I went for it. I ran across Bay Bridge 6 miles into the run and realised I was lost. 6 miles into a 3,170 mile run, I was lost. Guys, know which direction you're going in. In business and in life, you've got to know the direction. So I chose my direction. I was just going to head east. And I arrived in New York City on August 27, 2013. That date was significant for me because that was the day of my sobriety. August 27, 2013, I ran across the United States of America and I was 6 years sober. I'd gone from being a guy who couldn't get out of bed without a pint of lager in his hand to being one of less than 100 people and only the second Irishman to have run across the United States of America. Guys, I'm the most inspirational alcoholic you'll probably ever meet. Thanks for listening. Speak to you soon.